Ivanka Trump wants nothing to do with President Trump. I don't mean she's abandoning her dad, but as far as politics is concerned, Ivanka is sticking with it. She wants nothing to do with it. And she had already made a statement previously to this effect. CNN article, Ivanka Trump is done with politics and says she isn't coming back. This is an article by Betsy Klein. It's not particularly groundbreaking, but it does reinforce some of the things that we suspected. And the article lays out how, for the entirety of her adult life, Ivanka Trump has worked for Donald Trump, but that she made this social media post after Trump was out of office saying she's done. What she said was, quote, "I love my father very much. This time around, I am choosing to prioritize my young children and the private life we are creating as a family. I do not plan to be involved in politics." That was in 2022 that she said that, and it remains true. Everybody who has commented for the story says they're privately living in Miami, out of the public spotlight. So there are two stories here, and they sort of conflict. One is maybe less pleasant than the other. We already knew that there were these stories circulating of Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump returning to private life after Trump left office in January of 2021, and assuming they would be able to rejoin their prior social circles of socialites and dilettantes and whoever else in New York City. And they were not welcomed back into that. And those stories sort of dovetailed directly into looking for a house in Miami and these statements about I'm out of politics. And so on some level, as we've said, for the Trump family, getting involved in politics to begin with was not a great thing at a personal level. Of course, with the presidency comes great power, and without a doubt, there's no question. But also for a lot of the individuals, this was not so good, particularly when before they were seen as, when they were seen as far less political, they were much more well-liked across the political spectrum. So the one story is, of course, Ivanka wants out. She's basically been ostracized when she tried to go back to her old friends and blah, blah, blah. But there's another story here that is definitely more insidious and kind of pernicious, which is she and Jared got what they really wanted from having been associated with the Trump presidency, which is Jared got the billions from the Saudis, from their sovereign wealth fund for investments. They now have essentially won the game. And now it's, of course, time to step into the shadows as a strategic decision. It may not even be that it's just for the social and sort of ancillary reasons that she doesn't want to be involved with the Trump presidency, but it also would be real. It would be intelligent in its own way to say that's too much exposure. Now that Jared got his billions from the Saudis, we want to just live a quiet life where he's ripping hundreds of millions in fees from these funds that he's involved with, and we can just quietly do our thing. I also assume on some level, she must suspect that the Trump presidency isn't going to end well. Now, that doesn't mean because she objectively thinks her dad's going to be a bad president. She probably thinks he's a good president. Who the hell knows? But if she can see the writing on the wall, that there's a few ways that this ends, right? If he gets his policy ideas, it's going to be a disaster. If he doesn't, it'll be seen as a failed presidency. What happens after that? Trump will be 80 something. And what is the process for whatever comes next? None of it's really seeming awesome for what will then be I think roughly 50-year-old Ivanka Trump, right? What will be a close to 50-year-old Ivanka Trump at that point. None of these really seem like awesome exit strategies. So in particular, having pulled their couple of billion from the Saudis and really being set up permanently at this point, as if she wasn't before, there's a lot of sense to getting out while she still can. Keep a low profile and don't even start to have an involvement with this second Trump term. What do you think? What do you think explains the, quote, real reason why Ivanka and Jared are opting out of Trump presidency number 2? Let me know what you think. We'll take a very quick break and be right back. Let's talk about a game changer in sleep technology, our sponsor 8 Sleep and their revolutionary Pod 4 Ultra. The Pod is a high-tech mattress cover, and you can easily add it to your existing mattress. You can cool or heat your mattress based on your preferences and even elevate your head if you snore. I run hot. I hate getting hot when I sleep. That's why I set my 8 Sleep Pod to keep my mattress at a cool 60 degrees at night. You can set it anywhere from 55 to 110 degrees. You can set each side of the bed independently to a different temperature depending on your preferences versus your partner's, or you can set your pod to detect your body's sleep cycles and automatically adjust temperature for optimal sleep. The pod can also detect when you're snoring and automatically adjust the position of the bed to reduce or even stop the snoring. This can be a huge factor in how rested you will feel the next day, and your sleeping partner will thank you bigly. You get 30 days to try it at home. Return it if you don't like it, but I know you'll love it as much as I do. Go to 8sleep.com/Pacman. Use the code Pacman to get $350 off your Pod 4 Ultra. The link is in the description.